It is the 27th day of August 2023 and you're just in time for another edition of News Now. Well, we have so much lined up for you in our bulletin this afternoon. Remember, you can always interact with us on our social media handles indicated at the bottom of your screen. Now, with that said, my name is Dennis Otieno. I trust you're doing well. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, on to our top story this afternoon. President William Ruto, together with other leaders from the region, are currently attending a church service in Bungoma town. Let's cross over and listen in.
Two things. Nitawaita viongozi wachache wache hapa waseme machache alafu nitamalizia. But before I even do that, Your Excellency, allow me to introduce my dear wife. Bure nitapata shida nyumbani. Asante, that's Dr. Margaret. Asante sana ako hapa. Kwa nafasi hii niruhusu nimwalike CS wetu wa health na Humicha aje aseme machache, atujulishe wenzake ambao wametutembelea kaunti yetu ya Bungoma. Karibu CS na Humicha.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the Deputy President, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, Speaker of the National Assembly, Party Leader of Ford Kenya, Moses Masika Wetangula, all governors present, members of Parliament, my colleagues, na watu wote wa Bungoma. God is good all the time. Vandu be Bungoma mulembe. Mulembe swa. Mulembe mya. Mulembe te. Muli moyo. Mwasa angalile bakeni. Samupaho si kala sia raisi. Asante. Your Excellency, allow me to introduce my colleagues who are present. I would like to begin with the Chief Administrative Secretaries who are here. Please stand up so that I can introduce you. The CASs who are here. Your Excellency, we have CAS Alfred Agoi, karibu sana. Your Excellency, we have CAS Anne Wanjiku, who is also my county mate, karibu sana. Your Excellency, we have CAS Jacqueline, karibu sana. Your Excellency, we have CAS, who is also a daughter of this soil, Nancy Kibaba. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, we have CAS, who is also my county mate, Wesley Korir, karibu sana. Your Excellency, we have CAS, son of the soil, Sudi Wandabusi, karibu sana. PSS present. Your Excellency, we have PS Omolo, Interior, karibu sana. Your Excellency, we have PS Beatrice Nyangala of Higher Education, karibu sana. Your Excellency, we have PS, my namesake from Busia, Susan Mangeni, karibu sana PS. And Your Excellency, we have PS, son of the soil, Professor Kisiangani, karibu sana. In absentia, allow me to recognize one of our PS who is also not here, Mukhwana, and also my own PS, Kim Tai, who is also son of this soil. Lastly, Your Excellency, let me introduce my colleagues who are here from the Cabinet.
All right, now remember the president has been on a developmental tour in the Western region and our reporters have been following up closely on the itinerary of the president while he's in the developmental tour in the Western region, and they will definitely be following up on that story as it develops and they will be updating us further on it in our subsequent bulletins. But moving on. Church leaders have appealed to political leadership in the country, including opposition, to observe political tolerance and desist from issuing statements that may jeopardize the country's peace. Addressing the media in Kakamega town, the Jehovah Witness Western leaders led by Elphas Mulama said the ongoing bipartisan talks will only bear fruits if we as a country learn to accommodate each other. Now, according to Mulama, many nations have suffered and developments rocked by war and political instability, and Kenya should not join those statistics. Now, the leaders were speaking during the first convention of the Jehovah Witness Western churches since the dawn of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Tunasikitikia sana hali ambayo imesababisha vifo vya watu wengi, tunawasikitikia. Na hivyo tungependa kukazia umuhimu wa watu kuishi kulingana na mafundisho halisi ya Biblia, na kila mmoja ana uamuzi wake wa kufanya ama kufikia kiwango cha elimu ambacho angependa kufikia. Uamuzi wa serikali inaenda kulingana na vile iko nayo na katiba, na sisi tunaheshimu katiba. Ulimwengu mzima subira ni jambo ambalo haliko, na ndio sababu ukiona kichwa chetu ambacho tutakizungumzia kuhusu siku 3 inakazia kuhusu subira katika nyanja zote za maisha yetu, na hii inatia ndani watu wote. Watu wajifunze kuhusiana na subira jinsi ambavyo tunajifunza hapa, na Biblia ina kanuni mbalimbali ambazo inatusaidia kuweza kukuza sifa ya subira.
A section of Kenyans under the flagship of promoters of Popular Initiative Constitutional Amendment have proposed constitution amendments through a popular initiative. This as the country marks 13 years since the promulgation of the new constitution in 2010. The group says they are on the verge of collecting more than 1 million signatures to aid their initiative. Take a look.
That our representation ought to be examined. For the last 10 years, we've been grappling with the question of representation of women, but that is not the only area that we ought to focus on. We believe that we should look at marginalized communities. Do they think and feel that they are part of Kenya? Do the Ogiek of Kenya feel that they are part of Kenya? Do the Wata of Kenya think they are part of Kenya? Do the Dashnach feel that they are part of Kenya? We believe that this is the time to look at the question, or to relook at the question of representation once again. We are also saying that our legislature and legislative architecture needs to be re-examined. There are those who believe that we are overrepresented. There are those who believe that we are underrepresented. And we believe that this is the time once again to ask ourselves, after 13 years, can we do better? We will therefore be proposing that we ought to do that in the face of the many arguments that are on the table. There are those who believe that the architecture of our executive arm of government ought to be re-examined. And if there was any doubt, we have seen many things play in our courts. We have seen the creation of an office called Prime Cabinet.
All right, that is also a developing story, and our reporters are definitely following up on it closely. They will be updating us further on it as it develops in our subsequent bulletins. Now, moving on. A private hospital in Nyali constituency is accused of medical negligence that led to the untimely death of a patient under their care. Pascaline Nyambea, daughter of the deceased, says her mother, Cecilia John, was misdiagnosed by the hospital in her 59-day stay, adding that the hospital declined to discharge the body until the medical bill was cleared. However, the family of the deceased hired a private pathologist who conducted a post-mortem under the watch of officials from the Muslim for Human Rights Muhuri organization and DCI officers at a funeral home. Efforts to reach Premier Hospital Chief Executive Officer Charles Kariuki were unsuccessful.
Admitted at Premier Hospital. Hizi zote zilifanyika kwa Premier Hospital. Premier Hospital is in Mombasa, Nyali, Mombasa. Naomba serikali ichukue hatua ya kuchunguza hii Premier Hospital, kwa sababu kama mamangu leo ndio for the first time kujua mama alikuwa na kansa, lakini alikuwa anatreatiwa mambo mengine. Nataka serikali ichukue hatua kuchunguza hiyo hospitali.
Hata kama sisi ni layman atuelewi mambo ya medics, lakini tumedhihirisha baada ya kuchukua pathologist private. Tumehaya private pathologist, amempasua mama, amefanya kuangalia kila kitu, wamepata kuwa the daktari ambao walimtibu walimess. walimes, ndio maana mama amekufa na kifo yake kilikuwa haijafika kwa sababu ya negligence na watu kutaka tu pesa. Nchi ya Kenya ni nchi ambayo iko na katiba na iko na sheria. Masuala ya watu kufungua tu hospitali na kuextort na kuibia watu na hakuna proper accountability, sisi kama shirika la Mhuri pamoja na mashirika mengine yote tutalobi na njia zote za kisheria ku make sure hiyo hospitali imefikishwa mahakamani. Wale medics board yao lazima pia wajibike.
Kuna underdiagnosis na pia kuna misdiagnosis kwa ule mgonjwa kabla Mwenyezi Mungu hajamchukua. Tunasema hivi, ripoti tumeshaipata kutoka kwa pathologist yule aliyefanya uchunguzi kwa hiyo mwili. Tunataka kutake action kwa wale waliohusika na huyo mgonjwa paka pale Mwenyezi Mungu amemchukua.
Now, from the probe of the death in a hospital in the coastal region to gatekeeping in matters sexual violence in the country. Now, the national government and the county government of Nairobi have pledged to work together to ensure safe houses are built to take care of women and girls who experience sexual violence. Now, Cabinet Secretary for Gender, Aisha Jumwa, accompanied by Nairobi Woman Representative Esther Passaris, inspected the construction of houses to help victims of violence in the capital city. Further, CS Jumwa has promised to establish rescue centers across the country.
Kila county katika county 47 kupitia mpango wa National Government Affirmative Action Fund tutaenda kujenga safe house ambazo zitasaidia, kwa sababu sisi kama serikali malengo yetu ni kuona ya kwamba dhuluma za kijinsia kwa wasichana, kina mama na kina baba tumezikomesha kufikia mwaka wa 2026.
During COVID, we realized that there was an increase in domestic violence and there was no safe space for people to go. This will also double up as a wellness center. It can also double up as a halfway home. It could also help with rehabilitation, depending on the need of the time. We're hoping that one day our youth and our men, and even our women, because we also know that there are men who suffer gender-based violence. We're hoping that we'll reach a point where society has zero gender-based violence. So for us, it's just having a place that is provided and managed and run by government.
Elsewhere, as UDA party plans for grassroots elections, leaders have been called upon to embrace peace and not divide Kenyans on ethnicity. This comes at a time when the Dialogue Committee is trying to find lasting solutions for the cohesiveness of Kenyans. Now, speaking during her endorsement by Mombasa residents as the UDA chairperson for Mombasa, nominated Senator Miraj Abdillahi has laid down her achievements for the time she has been in the Senate and called on leaders from the region not to use the youth to cause chaos, instead empower them.
Wale walotoka bara wakaja hapa kuishi kutafuta maisha, na wale ambao wamezaliwa hapa, mimi ndio ndugu yenu ambaye nitawaunganisha. Nitawapa fursa sawia ya kuweza kupata zile ahadi ambazo William Samoei Ruto na serikali yake waliwahi kuziweka. Tutatetea masuala ya ardhi kwa umoja, kwa kauli moja. Tutatetea kufufua uchumi ambao wa utalii ulikuwa umepotea kwa sababu ya kauli na vita ambavyo havieleweki. Tutawawezesha vijana kupitia uongozi wangu kama mwenyekiti waweze kupata fursa, wawache kushika mapanga. Hakuna mtoto wa mtu ambaye amependa kufanya uhalifu. Hakuna mtoto ambaye anataka kubaguana ili yeye apate kazi mwingine asipate. Ni kasumba ambayo imewekwa na viongozi wa kisiasa wa binafsi. Wache ubinafsi. Wakati wa kuchagua nani atakayekuwa gavana wa Mombasa utafika. Saa hii ni lazima tushirikiane. Whether you like it, Hassan Omar Sarai and Muhammad Ali, you will sit on one table and do what the president pledged to do to the people of Coastal Region.
Chama cha UDA ndani ya Mombasa ni chama kimoja tu. Hakuna mirengo wala sijui nani na nani. Sisi tunatambua kuwa chama cha UDA ni kimoja, na mpaka sasa hatuna kiongozi tutakayesema ati huyu ndio kiongozi wa chama ndani ya Mombasa, kwa sababu uchaguzi haujafanyika, na tusubiri
kila mmoja ajiuze mashinani, aende kwa wananchi. La muhimu ni kuhakikisha tumerejesta watu wengi kuingia katika chama cha UDA.
Now, from the call of unity in Mombasa to curbing banditry in the North Rift region, leaders from the warring communities in the North Rift region are now rooting for return of stolen and recovered livestock as a permanent solution to banditry and cattle rustling activities. This comes at a time when vices of banditry and cattle rustling activities continue to be reported in the North Rift region. Now, according to the leaders, the new strategy of returning stolen animals to the owners has yielded fruits and relative peace has been realized along the Kenya-Uganda border, Pokot, Turkana and Elgeyo-Marakwet border points. The leaders who spoke in Kapenguria condemned the insecurity incidents happening in the area. The Kenya Pharmaceutical Association has opposed the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill 2023. Speaking in Machakos town after a stakeholders meeting in pharmacies drawn from lower eastern counties, Eric Gichane, the Association Secretary General, called on the National Assembly to consider the association's demands of inclusion of pharmacy practitioners in the country into the board of Kenya Drugs Authority. Now, speaking at the same venue, Mount Kenya University Dean of Students, Department of Pharmacy, Michael Mungoma, urged certificate and diploma holders in pharmacy to start enrolling in degree upgrade courses to upgrade their knowledge.
One of the other issues that we have also discussed is the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill that is currently at the second stage, or committee stage, at the National Assembly. Our call has been that we be involved in the drafting, in the amendments that are being carried out through public participation. And at least we have been able to give our memorandum, or we've rather been able to participate through a memorandum that we did as Kenya Pharmaceutical Association. One of the things that we are asking for the members of parliament is to ensure that they preserve the space of pharmacy practitioners in this country. The bill goes the way it is, though I have stated that we have at least been engaging the lawmakers who are the members of parliament. If it goes the way it is, then it risks cutting short, or rather reducing on the number of workforce available to offer.
When it comes to upgrading diploma holders to degree holders, part of the strategic plan of 2020-2025 by the board is to ensure that there's a space for diploma holders to be able to upgrade by going back to school and getting a degree qualification.
Meanwhile, Garissa County Governor Natif Jama has called for the hastening of the launch and implementation of the Garissa Integrated Socio-Economic Development Plan by the national government and UNHCR. According to Jama, continued delay was denying the refugees and the host community in Garissa their rightful resources for development that seeks to take stock of progress made in integrating refugees into the community and to develop a working plan for multi-stakeholders consultative process to develop the Shirika plan. The project is aimed at promoting the economic growth of Dadaab through alternative sustainable livelihoods and increased financial access. The county remains the fifth largest refugee hosting county in Africa, with over 577,000 registered refugees and asylum seekers as of the end of February 2023.
Surprise to me. And this question also equally goes to our friends in USCR, and I'm glad that they are represented here. What happened to Giside? Why is it that Gesideb is being led to be on a slow motion? I mean, we discussed this almost, should I say, was it in May when we met in, was it in May or March? March. It was in March when we met in Mombasa, and we agreed that we first track this thing. It's almost now, 8 or so months. And I really don't know what is happening. Who, or rather, where is the problem? Why is Gesideb being handled in a lukewarm manner? Who is after stopping the progress of Gesideb?